Hi everybody, we're going to start this one off. I'm going to go ahead and apologize now. I've had a terrible sore throat, so the voice is struggling a bit, but we'll get through it. To Kay Henry, who on one of the comments on last week's video said it was a once-in-a-lifetime find to find that beautiful buffet. Well, I am very lucky because I also found this piece. This piece is an amazing piece, and it's one of those pieces that I always talk about that you do not want to touch until you have had it appraised. Do not touch it with a sander. Do not touch it with a paintbrush before you get it appraised if you end up with something like this. This is a bonetier, and we're going to talk about this piece because there are so many fascinating things about it. French women have been the leaders of fashion for centuries. And back in the time when there was big hair, and no, I'm not talking about the 1980s for the Americans that are watching. I am talking about the 18th century. We are going back to the days of Marie Antoinette and those big hair pieces, the big hats. We're going back there. That is what this piece was made for. It was made for storing the hats, the big hair pieces, the big wigs. It was made to store those pieces. Now, as far as research goes, what we know about this piece is that it is hand carved. Every bit of it is hand carved. The piece is made of oak. The style of this piece is similar to both Louis the 13th and 14th. Do I think this piece is 400 years old? Being between 1621 and 1700? I don't know is the answer. I would love to say yes. My sensible head says no, but until it's appraised, I would not have a clue. This one is a mystery box. I do not know if it is French or American, or somewhere else. Hence why I don't want to do anything to it that would affect the value of this piece. The piece is very old. Hopefully you can see it, but the glass is wavy glass. So it is not new glass. It is very, very old glass. You can see those ripples and waves in it, like, you know, like you would find in an old building or an old painting. The decorative piece around the lock is quite ornate and follows with that Louis XIV style. Although I am not 100% sure that this is the original lock. The construction on this piece is very interesting. It is pinned mortise and tenon. So it has pegs rather than nails that are holding those mortised joints together. The glass is not molded in, it is glazed in. The glazing is a bit concerning to me at the moment, but we'll deal with that later. It has a lot of repairs already, which would affect the value of the piece, I know. I have waxed the piece because the wood was very, very dry. I bought this at auction. I'm not sure where it was stored prior to me purchasing it, but wherever it was stored, it was filthy dirty. So I did take some vinegar and water and cleaned it, and then just did a good wax on it to keep it from further deterioration. The shelves have slots in the back of the cabinet, and these pegs go in and then the shelf goes on top of the peg on each side, so you can choose however tall your hat or wig was. You could adjust the shelving to fit that particular item on the shelf. The sides have raised panels, and when you run your hand down these panels, you feel chisel marks. So each panel was chiseled out rather than planed or routed. Every panel here, every molding, you can feel the chisel marks in it. It has a lot of warping to the door. As we say, there's a lot of repairs, some done okay, some not that great, but the piece is just it's a beautiful piece. The moldings are different around the glass than they are around the frame of the piece. We also believe that there's something that is missing up here. I think there was probably another piece, a molding up here that went all the way around it. Just looking at the style of other ones, it looks as if there should have been something up here, but we have no way of knowing that for sure. Also, something that I didn't get into, these are hand forged. The hardware is hand forged here. So this piece will definitely need to be appraised before any repairs or anything like that is done to it, or even if I repair it. I quite like the rustic feel. I bought this piece for myself. I paid much more for it than what I would if I were going to flip this. Now, depending on what the appraised value is, that could change, of course. But yeah, it's just a very interesting piece that I thought you guys might really enjoy seeing something like this. And I know that a lot of you are antique buyers, antique dealers, and if you have any information that you could pass on about this piece, I would be quite receptive to hearing it. So please put it in the comments. Love your comments, and we really, really appreciate it when you hit that like and subscribe button. About 80% of our viewers are not subscribed. Please remember, hit that subscribe button. We really, really need those numbers up. So thank you for watching, and we will see you next week with another project. Now, for all of you who are afraid that I am going to touch this with a paintbrush, I will not be touching this with a paintbrush. I won't let anyone near it that's going to touch it with a paintbrush.